And so I'm going to break this into 3 pieces. All right, AI hygiene, be very quick, workflows, and then AI assets. All right, that's the deal. All right, so AI hygiene. Many of you guys do not follow AI hygiene, and for some reason you don't know about this. Okay, you want to start a new chat for every new topic. So when I first started using AI a long, long time ago, I basically had a never-ending one chat that just kept going forever and ever. And it was like, hey, I've got this weird spot on my arm. What's that? And then I was like, hey, how do I change this light bulb in my car? And then it was, after that, it's like, by the way, write me some copy. And like the AI probably thought I was a psychopath, and it would be correct. But I don't want it to know that. I want it to infer that. So for every time that you want to ask anything that is not related to the question before, you want to start a new chat. All right, so just for everybody. Number 1. Next, the more iterations and or feedback loops you provide within the same chat, the better the outputs will continue to be. And so your 4th answer on a string is going to be superior to the first answer. Again, the big C word is context. All right, can we get a favorites chat? I don't even know what that means, but that's what we're looping here. All right, so if you have your initial prompt that you added your big context to, it then might ask you some more questions. Then you give that feedback, and then it gives you an output, and then you give output on that feedback. That next thing it gives will be significantly better than if you just took the first thing it gave you, okay? So if you want to increase the quality of the outputs, increase the number of iterations within each window. All right, next. Verify facts and figures of outputs. We try to make sure we minimize hallucinations as much as possible, but like you for sure, like if there's numbers in there, or it says a study, make sure that that you just double check it. One important point that I will make here, and this kind of references Keenan's story, is that like at the end of the day, decision making is still yours, right? You cannot outsource thinking. You'll still be rewarded by the quality of your judgment and your taste. So what we want to really have AI do is outsource the typing, right? Like if you know what you want to type and you already have the ideas, you can just have someone else clack, 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 clack on the keys. All right, so outsource the typing, not the thinking. Next, the big thing here is that the idea is still the alpha. So your idea from a content, from a sales message, from an offer, the idea is still the alpha. That is still where the highest returns come, not necessarily the collateral. Now the collateral is a part of it to describe or execute or implement against the alpha, but the idea is still the core thing. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. Okay, so that's AI hygiene. Please start new chats when you have a new idea. The more iterations you have within a chat, the higher the quality of the output. Verify facts and figures. Don't outsource your thinking, only the typing, and the idea is still the thing that matters most. Okay, now, this gets into a little bit higher level for those of you who have teams, okay? And if you don't have teams, then this will still apply to you, but just it's just a different way of organizing workflows. Okay, let's rock. So here's a big idea for you. Who here has heard the term SOP? Standard Operating Procedure. Who has heard SOP before? Just give me an SOP in the chat if you've heard of SOP. Okay? Yes, you guys have heard of SOP. What I want you to do is in your brain, translate SOP to prompt. It is the same thing. Think about what it is. I want to give you, my employee or myself, our standard operating procedure for some task, right? We give them a standard operating procedure. What do you think a prompt is? You're giving them the operating procedure to get an output. And so the prompt is the SOP. And so when you think about it from that perspective, you will realize that most of y'all's prompts are too short. You're trying to outsource work to an employee with one sentence. And so like everything worth doing in life, it still takes work. Now I'm going to talk about the leverage that this creates later, but big picture, you have to do some of that thinking work up front to get higher quality outputs. Like you can be dumber than you were before and still be kind of successful, but you get significantly more returns when you're smart and work hard. Now, the rich get richer still. Now, when we want to have repeated workflows, so you have things that occur every single week within your business. You make a certain amount of content, you do a certain amount of outreach, you send a certain amount of emails, You send voicemails. You have RFPs that you respond to. You have emails that happen in and out every day. You have Slack messages. All of these things that happen on a regular basis, right? What you want to do is create standardized prompts for repeated work. So inside that AI folder that we had business context, which was one folder. The next folder that we would have is SOP prompts, okay? So inside of those SOP prompts is where we want to put the prompts for repeated work. Now, if you're not sure what those are yet, at the very least, create a list of the things that you do on a regular basis. Now, if you don't know what that is, then what you'd want to do is a time study where you can look at what you spend your time on in a given week and then block it out at 15-minute slots, and you can see where you spend your time. Now, the vast majority of that stuff is stuff that is repeated. And so all we have to do is spend one-time work. Remember I said one-time work, forever payoff, or forever time saving. One-time work actually really thinking through what our SOP would be if we wanted to hand this off to an employee. What would it really be? And then that becomes the basis for the prompt for the AI in the future. Yes, ADHD wins again. Okay. So you want to store these centrally in that folder. And if you're the one using them, you can save it into a master doc with tabs. For those who use Google Tabs, that's one way of doing it. If you just love having master docs, I tend to be a psychopath who likes one doc to rule them all. Some of you guys like folders, that's up to you. I'm a big one doc that has a zillion tabs guy. That's me. But it's up to you. Now, most of you, if you really think about what this would translate for a role is you might have a customer success manager, and there might be 15 tabs, and each of those tabs relates to one of 15 tasks that they have to do, and the prompt related to that task. Is this making sense? And if you're not sure what an SOP looks like, I will show you. I will show you. Okay, I will show you. Don't worry. We good so far? Yes? All right. Now, if you are also solo working, here's an alternative method of implementing it within your business. If you have repeated calendar blocks, so if you're somebody who does time blocking, which I'm a big advocate of, which is you block your calendar for when you're going to do work, you can put the prompt inside of the calendar block so that when you see it on your calendar, the prompt is already there and you can make it a repeated event. All right, you can also do this for a new employee. You can time block their time, and inside of their calendar event is the prompt that they would use to do the work. Pretty slick, right? Okay, can I give you an example? Yes, I'll give you an example of an SOP in a second. All right, and so what you want to do is you then can train the team on using those SOPs, those prompts, rather than just saying, hey, guys, use ACQ AI, use the LLMs, right? Go use them. It's that's not helpful for somebody, just like saying, go make emails. They need more context so they can make them the way you want them to be made. And to be clear, this is just this is just using AI like any other machine with a checklist. And so the end result here of this second little portion here is that you have a prompt repository. You have an area where your SOPs are saved. And these become even more powerful new age SOPs. So think of prompts as just 2.0, SOPs 2.0, right? And so your business functionally is run by a series of prompts. There is work that must be done. There is a way to do that work. And we save the prompts for how to do that work properly. Okay. If you do it many times, then it means you should only do it once and do it right and then replicate it. I'm going to say that again. If you do the same thing over and over again, then you should do it one time right so that you don't have to do it again over and over again. Brian, how do we know when to update the prompts? When you stop getting outputs that are good. Okay. Now, this may be the meatiest part of today, okay? And I said I was going to keep today shorter, and that's because this is already a shitload of work. All right, so my goal here is just I want you to actually do this. Okay, this is the bigger one. All right, so big picture, we got our context window, 101 and 201. That's what we did first. Next, we make sure we follow our AI hygiene. We start new chats. We iterate more times within the chat in order to get better outputs. We're good on that. Then for the repeated tasks that we do within the business, we start creating a prompt repository, SOP list, and you can do this by role, and you can do it on their calendar, you can do it within a Google Doc, or you can do both. So people know exactly what steps to follow in order to do the work. Now, the third piece here is AI assets, all right? This is going to be probably besides the context window, this will be the highest ROI. So I probably put the SOP thing that I just said as third highest ROI. This would be the second highest ROI, thing that we will do today, okay? So we already have the folder of AI assets. So we have our business context, number one. We have our SOP or prompt repository, number two. And then number three, we have AI assets. Sorry, we have, you could call them, I guess it's AI assets within AI assets, but I guess we probably have to call it a different name. You call it data sources if you want to, but call it data sources for right now. Sorry, I messed that up by calling the same name twice. Data sources, all right, that's what the folder will be. Now, what you want to do is go by function and gather the assets. Now, what does that mean? Okay, so what we would do is we will export the things that you have already done. So the big advantage that you have, especially the longer you've been in business, is that you have done stuff, you have worked, and that work has created output. That output is data. That data can be used to create more data like it in the future. So you should have a place where you have a source that has all of the data of the work that you've already done so that it can help you create more work that looks like that. So this is a sample list of assets that I would start with. If those of you who tweet, I would put all of your tweets, which you can export in one button on X. You export every single one of your tweets, and that becomes, boom, your prompt. That becomes, a data source. Number one, I put all my tweets, all time, data source. Real quick, I'm going to show you the exact 10-stage roadmap from 0 to 100 million plus that less than 1% of companies finish. I've now done multiple times. And so I can say with a lot of confidence that these are the stages as headcount increases that you need to get through. And I broke each of these down by 8 different functions of the business, what the constraint feels like what are the symptoms of it when you're going through it, and then what steps we actually took to graduate. And we've done this across software, physical products, service businesses, brick and mortar, all of this, and it works. And it's my gift to you. It's absolutely free. And so the link's in the description. Just enter your info and it'll spit it right back to you, all free. Number two, if you've sent any emails to your list over the last however many years of your customers, take those emails and then put all of them in one document, one master doc that just has the emails that you've ever sent. Now, alternatively, if for each of these that I'm giving you, if you have certain emails that you like, you can use those emails. Right? If you like an e-commerce store that sends a certain type of email or whatever, you could just search all those, then export, and then boom, you have another data source. By the way, the calendar prompt is not a prompt. It's just you paste in the prompt and you just put it in the description of the calendar event so that when that person clicks the time, they can see the prompt, they can import the prompt, they can do it, they can use it. So it's not like a special thing. I'm just saying it's a different way of organizing it. Another asset that you should probably have, for those of you who have sales teams, you probably have SDRs or setters, right? You probably have those calls recorded. You already have this stuff. Take your top 10, top 100, if you want, recordings, the transcriptions of those calls, and then we want to make that another data source. Now, what I'm putting in the bold next to this as we're going through this is what you can create from these assets, right? So if I have my top 10 sets of all time transcribed, I'm going to give you the prompt momentarily that you can use to transform that into the golden standard of your SDR script. If you have your email newsletters that you've done in the past, that helps you create your future newsletters. If you have all your X posts and tweets that you've done in the past, that helps you create future X posts and tweets. If you have your top 10 closing calls recorded, this will help you create your VSLs. It'll create your emails. It'll create your follow-up, create your closer script. So what do I use for extracting transcriptions if it's in a different language than English? I mean, I don't think it matters. All the LLMs speak the same language. They're universal. They're large language models. You can speak in whatever language you want. If you have lead nurture sequences, you can export all of those things and then say, hey, this is my current lead nurture. How could I improve this? How could I make this better? Output superior versions of the lead nurture. So I'm going to keep going through these because I know that SDR means setter, the person who qualifies leads. I'm going to keep going through these, but the big takeaway that I want everyone to have from this is that you already have these data sources. You have already done this work. And so it's So the advantage that all of us who have done work in the past have for using AI is that you can get the AI to sound like you because you have done stuff. So I'll pause real quick. Who here in the chat has seen content on the internet and been like, this was written with AI? Just give me an eyeballs emoji if you've seen AI content on the internet. Just like words, just the words, not even the videos, just the words. Yes? Of course. Now the question is, why is it AI content? How can we tell that it looks like AI content? The reason we can tell it's AI content is because AI sounds like a melting pot of the internet. And so AI sounds like the internet. And so so AI doesn't sound like AI. AI sounds like us if we had no personality. And so if you want the AI to have a tone, have a pattern of speaking, have a certain cadence that it communicates in, the advantage that you have, all of us who have actually done work, is that you can use the work you did and say, don't sound like you, sound like this. And then it will use that in pattern match to create the output that you want. And so AI doesn't, like if people, like I hear this a lot, like AI can only make stuff that sounds like AI. No, AI sounds like AI if you give it no context. You have given no asset, no data source to work off of. Then it's just going to fabricate from the large data set that it has, which is the internet. And so that's why these filters, that's why we start with these contexts up front so that it can know what pattern to match with the outputs. But wait, there's more. Thank you, Lee. Okay, and so for each of these that I'm showing you here, you've got the data source, and then we've got the thing that we can create from the data source. And I'll show you the prompt stuff in a second, okay? But each of these, this is the relationship I want you to see, is that like if we have sales recordings, there's lots of stuff we can do with that. We can improve a gold standard script. We can make a video sales letter taking the best closes we have. We can take those sales scripts, put them into emails. We can do it, make it into follow-up. All of these these assets or these data sources can create further assets and data sources in the future. Okay. If you want to help, if you're like, hey, I want to make better content, use transcripts from YouTube videos that you like. And yes, Jaime or Jamie, I'll show you how to do the tone blueprint, and it's like we'll do that at the end. Transcripts from YouTube videos that you like, great. We take those transcripts and then we feed it in. And that gives us more videos like this. All right, and I'll show you again the more tactical ones, but this is, I just want to give you conceptually the idea here so it can get your juices flowing. Because every single one of you right now, you guys tweet, you write emails, you have salespeople, you have VSLs, video sales letters, you have emails, you have follow-up, you make content, you make all this stuff, right? And if you're not using this to make that, then you're not using the ACQ AI at all the same degree that you could be and getting way more out of it. Okay? Product FAQs, right? That transforms into sales page copy, VSLs, follow-up, long-term nurture, customer support transcripts. So when we're thinking about this folder that we're talking about, we've got our assets. We click in, we've got our context, right? We have our SOPs and prompts for the repeated work we do in the business. And then we have the data sources that those SOPs and prompts are based off of. Are you seeing how this is all put together? What if I can... Is there an overhead cam that's on? If there isn't, then don't worry about it. I can use my hands. No overhead. There's no? Okay. Okay. So, then pay close attention to my hands. We're going to double click on this first folder, which is your AI assets. Inside, you will have 3 folders. Folder number 1 is your business context. That is all the data that you're going to have on your business. Folder number 2 is you're going to have your prompt repository, your SOP repository. These are the prompts that dictate how you do the work you do on a regular basis in your business. These are instructions. The third folder is going to be the data sources. This is what these prompts will reference to pattern match to create outputs. All right? Does everyone get all 3 of those? Everyone with me so far? Yes. Business context, SOP repository, data sources. That's it. That's all we're doing. Your SOPs are the things you do and how you do them. The business context is what you've already done and the description of your business. And your data sources are where you are gathering, you're exporting data from things you've already done. Your tweets, your emails, your SDR recordings, your sales recordings, your existing email sequences, video transcripts, transcripts of videos you like, emails you like, right? Content you enjoy, product FAQs, reviews online, customer support transcripts, all of that stuff, all of those are data sources. Your best performing ad copy, to give you a few others. If you've got high engaging social media posts that you like or have seen from other people, keep one doc that has the post that you like the most. That rhymed. Your website copy, in and of itself, is an asset, right? It's a data source that it can pull off of, which can also give you page improvements, copy improvements, ad copy from there, emails from there. If you have blog posts or articles that you enjoy, those become data sources. SOPs and internal process. Some of you guys already have some SOPs. Great. Now, I will, I don't know if I'm going to hit that memo system. I think I might blow someone's gasket, so I might not do that one right now. I think it's gonna melt some minds. Okay, we'll just move on to the next one. Onboarding scripts for customers or employees, right? These are all things that you have. Pitch decks and webinars, slide decks that you have. All of these, new data sources. Top performing email sequences. Guys, are you guys with me on this? You want that repository to be rich with the highest quality data you can. And the higher the quality that you curate with those sources, the higher quality the AI will pattern match to create outputs. And the more complete the context, the more specific and personalized they'll be to your business. And the more detailed the prompt, the more they will follow the instructions, give you the output you want. That's how all three of these things work, all right? It has to know what your business is about. It has to have good data that it can base off saying this is what it looks like when it's right, and then it has to get clear instructions on exactly what you want. When you have all three of these things, you can put them together and make banger outputs. And so things only sound like AI when you don't have a baseline to train it on. So AI sounds like the internet, but if you train it on the work you've done, it sounds like the work you've done. Yes, I will give you guys examples. I want to walk through this first. Okay, and so these are the most common things that people are using to get outputs with ACQ AI. So people are looking for sales scripts. So right now, many of you, I know because I've talked to you guys, many of you need one or more items on this list, right? So who here, actually, what do we have? So we have 12 items on the list. Who here, say on number 1 to 12, how many of these things you know you could do better at than you are right now? You could do better on one of them, do better on 2 of them, 5 of them, all 12. Put a number 1 through 12. Of these things that are on this list, sales scripts, 12, we got a lot of 12s. Okay. That was not actually where I was going for that, but that's good to know that a lot of 12. 3, right? A lot of 12s. 5, a lot of 12s. Some 4s, some 7s, 6. Okay. UseAlan a lot. This is brilliant. Okay, cool. So the reason I bring this up is that this now gets to the crux of the issue of like what separates ACQ AI from kind of the generic AI, right? Which is that for many of you, these 12 things are the majority of how you make money, right? You make content, you run ads, you do outreach with words and videos and media. And then those people become engaged leads. And then you give them more information via sales scripts and video sales letters and webinars. And then with that extra information, they then make an informed decision and then purchase your stuff. And then after that, they get more information from you in some way, right? And so it's not that do you have this or not have it, it's how much do you have and how good is it? And this is why the difference between a 225 batter and a 300 batter is such an important point. So the whole idea here is that we're trying to make the asset, ACQ AI, that can help improve the quality of these things as they come out based on all the things that we've trained it on. Now, this is clearly just on assets. There's obviously, offer strategy, there's decision making, there's things like that that it also is trained on. But for many of you, when I look at the top use cases that you guys have, these are the big use cases you guys use it for. All right. So if Many of you guys did say at least one of those things is something that you could improve on, okay? The reason this is important, why this matters, is that if more better is how you grow, this allows you to do that. You no longer have an excuse because you now have tremendous leverage. And I just found this little infographic that I thought was funny. All right, boss, leader, introvert with AI, right? I just thought it was cute. And so some of you guys asked, how do I use this? All right, how do we put out so much stuff and how do we keep the quality high? Here's how we do this. So Mosey Minute used to take me between 60 and 90 minutes per email. And so this generates, put this in context, this generates about 20% of the revenue of ACQ, the advisory practice, all right? Now it takes 4 hours for me to make 16 emails. So basically 1/2 day per month, I sit down and I write all the emails for the month. And so so this gives me 4x leverage using what I just outlined. I've got my business context. Again, what are the 3 pieces here? I probably should have put a slide up, so I apologize. There's 3 big pieces. We have business context, we have the rules of engagement, we have how we do the stuff, and then we have the stuff we base it on, our data sources. Those are the 3 things that you need to have to use AI well. And so using all 3 of those things, I wrote the Mosey Minute for a very long time before using AI. And so then I said, great, and I'll tell you, it's like AI does not come up with the idea though. This is a big one. AI does not come up with the idea. It will take the idea that I have and say, hey, I want to write a Mosey Minute based on this core offer structure. This is why it's cool. This is why I think it's awesome. Turn this into an email that looks like these ones and follows that structure. And then it gives me the output, and then I tweak and edit it. Thank you. I appreciate that, Thad. I still spend time on it. It's just the difference is that I get more time back. So many of you guys think in terms of automation when you really should just be thinking in terms of leverage and amplification. I want to say this again because I think it's a really important point. Many people want to sell you an automation, and hey, it's sexy as hell. Automation's sexy. But more realistically, what you will get is amplification, not automation. You will get more leverage, not infinite leverage. True automation is infinite leverage, right? It continues to run. It never has to get checked. It never breaks. It always improves. That is uncommon. What is far more common is that something that used to take me 60 to 90 minutes now takes me 15 to 20 minutes. Real? So I'm getting 4x. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. And to be fair, Kevin, it's not AI. It's me. It's my idea. It just helps me type the words faster and give examples faster, right? So instead of me sitting there and being like, all right, what example do I want to use here? It just gives the example. I'm like, great. It already used the idea that I had and applies it, right? And so they're not AI. I take the emails that I have already written that I write like me. I have the idea that's me. I say, go make this similar to that. It gives me the output, and then I still edit it and tweak it, right? And the tweets, for example, that start the email with, those are tweets that I pull from somewhere else, right? And so all of this is leverage. All right, next. Tweets themselves used to take me about an hour and a half a day. And to give you context on this, it gets 20 to 30% of all of our content comes from tweets, all right? And so now it takes me about 90 minutes a week. So basically I'm 7 times more efficient. I haven't automated this. It's not AI making my tweets. It's that it will help me generate ideas from which to iterate to make tweets that are good, right? So if I could just purely say, hey, make me all these tweets and I copy paste them, it wouldn't work. Believe me, it doesn't work, right? But it can give me inspiration and ideation to base off of to then make my stuff happen faster. Because before this, I had to just sit there and be like, oh, all right. And I would scroll X, I'd scroll social media, and usually I'd just wait until I felt an emotion about something, and then be like, why do I feel this way? And then I would respond to that content as my tweet, right? And technically, Stephen, no, it's not still written by AI because I'm still editing a lot of it. It would be assisted. If it's pure AI, it's different. So, which is a specific difference, by the way, from a copyright perspective. So, next is YouTube, right? So videos used to take 2 hours for video for me, and this is like where 40% of lead flow comes from, right? So now it takes 15 minutes per video. And so what's interesting is that many of you will take the word AI and think, oh, bad quality. That's because you don't know how to use it. It's also because you don't have existing resources. This is a big point. This is a big deal. You are rewarded for the work that you have done. My Mosey Minute emails are bangers because I wrote a shitload of bangers. My tweets are good because I already wrote 6,000 fucking tweets before I did this. 6,000. All right, I'm at 7,000 now. 6,000 was just me, right? And so it has a huge data source to pull from to give inspiration in terms of sentence structure, in terms of ideation, that allows me to go work a lot faster. And so I gave my estimated, yes, I do a lot of work, Dylan. Yes, Emil, exactly. I put 6,000 in and said, learn from this, right? Now, if we're going through here, notice not all of the amplification is the same, right? I got 4x leverage on emails. I got 8x on YouTube. Different, right? And the key point here, big point, it's the idea. The idea is the leverage. The ultimate alpha is the idea. And so it's not going to come up with the Mosey Minute because it can't have my experience. And so I know some of the questions that I'm going to get around this are like, is AI going to replace us? Eventually, not for a while. But the main reason is that because AI cannot live in real life and cannot get real life experiences. And so those experiences are the alpha. That's the idea. That's the learnings. Those learnings, those stories, those narratives, it can then flesh out, but the core idea is yours. That is the essence of it. And so this is how I've scaled what I do. Is like I can take the core value and then I can amplify it. It's not automated, it's just amplified. You guys digging this? Is this making sense? Correct, Moritz. AI is not original yet. It's like a remixer, right? Exactly. For now, it will get better in the future. But for now, it more or less remixes. And so the idea is, what I want to, okay, I can now articulate this well. What we're trying to remix is our language patterns, our sentence structure, the format of the video. I'm going to have an intro, I'm going to have 3 main points, I'm going to have stories, whatever, right? The format, the structure, that is what AI is very good at replicating. The essence of it, the core value that's being created. That sounds like pretty amorphous language for me. Fundamentally, the good shit, right, that's inside, that still is going to come from you, which is why a beginner who just tries to churn out AI content still doesn't win because they have no idea. They have no experience. They haven't done anything. And the AI can't do it for you, can't live your life for you, can't have the experience for you. So you have to do stuff, like I've always said, and then take the stuff you did and you talk about it. AI just allows you to talk about more of it faster. Yes, Rayhan. We can amplify. That's the goal here. All right. Memos used to take me at least 4 hours per memo. Now they take me probably an hour-ish, right? Maybe it's a little less than that. I don't know. Maybe it was a little aggressive on that one. Probably still takes me about an hour. So probably 4x leverage, not 8x. Scripts for sales guys, my God, that would take me a long time. And now we can write scripts much faster for new offers, for portfolio companies, for anything, right? So we get significantly more leverage. And so I'm bringing this up for you guys to show you that, like, how do I use AI to make YouTube videos? It's going to be more structure and ideation. And then, honestly, I have a skill set, which is that I've developed over many years, which is that I can riff on topics in a way that's interesting. And I know syntax and rhetoric that people find engaging, being real. So my stuff isn't scripted, and that's what also makes it a lot easier. So for me, it's much more like, what are the interesting prompts that drive response around a topic, and that is easier. So like so the way I use AI is actually to prompt me to say interesting things. Actually, that's probably the easiest way for me to say this. Like the tweets for me is that it prompts me to respond to things, which helps me ideate on interesting things to say faster. It does not say, hey, Alex, say this. Now, for scripts, yes, you can use it to create sales scripts. All right, so that's what we're going to get into next. All right, and so yes, VSLs used to take a full day, and now you can do them really quick. Okay? So, the part that many of you guys have been waiting for. So, big picture, we've broken this down into number 1, we have our business context. Number 2, we have our SOP repository of how we do shit. And I'm going to give you examples of this in a second. And number 3, we have our data sources. right? Which is stuff that we've done in the past that it can reference to make more stuff like it. Okay. What if you're not confident about the quality of your current content? Excellent question, Casper. I will give you use cases for how to improve this. Yeah, AI uses me the way other people use AI. Yes, I get AI to prompt me. Okay, so the goal here is we use past work to make future work. So this is the overarching step process. So number one is you get assets, you separate them clearly. So what I mean by that, so let's say you got 10 sales call transcripts. You just got to make sure that each sales call is clearly delineated. Like space, 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 star, 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 begin second script, star, 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 begin third script, star, 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 begin fourth script. All right, blah, 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 as you go through. So you get your assets, you separate them clearly, and then you upload them. All right, so this is the data sources we're talking about. So you upload that, you put your little paper clip, right? You upload it, then you prompt, right? The prompt repository that I was referencing. I probably should have done step 3 instead of step 2 first, but you get the idea. Okay, so you'll notice that the best outputs come from the best inputs. And when done right, these create prompt chains. And I'll explain what this means later. So, for example, if you have a sales recording, but don't have a gold standard sales script, let me send something, hold on. Louis, can you pull something up on this screen? Can we go like back and forth between two screens? Is that possible? I'm going to send you a doc because I want to show what the prompt looks like, so that they can see it. So just so you guys know, I'm going to give you, so believe me, this was like the 101 training, so I'm not going to do any more of this. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. Again, before anyone gets too deep in this, levels here, okay? Number one is get your context window right. Do 101 and 201. Get that first. If you do nothing else but doing that, it's a W. The second thing you can do is just get your data sources. Everyone has them. There's no work that's really involved there besides you just capturing it. Just put it together, all right? That's the second big thing. The third thing is the prompt repository that references both of these things to create outputs. Thomas, isn't there a limit providing context? On every one of the platforms there is, but this is why I'm saying do things in Word format, and that'll dramatically decrease the size. Like, if you're talking, it's 25 megabytes. If you're doing just words, you'll have more than enough. You can put a book as context with 25. Again, the key thing is you don't put images inside. Okay, so I'm going to have my team go through this. So I had this originally as in the slide deck, but I think I'll just voice over it. I think it'll be more useful for everybody. Yes, thank you, Buck. We've worked on it. Okay, so let's say right now you have some sales recordings, okay? You have some sales recordings, but you don't have a unified script. So your sales team doesn't have a unified script. So what we would do is we would paste the transcript of the 10 call recordings, and then we would post this prompt inside of it, right? And so it'd be like, hey, this is the number one. This is for you guys. And I will give you guys a copy, my gift to you, of every one of these prompts as an email, okay? So you guys get an email with every one of these. But I want to go through each of them so you understand how this works. Because fundamentally, you've got stuff. We give it a prompt to make better stuff or analyze that stuff and improve it. That's it. All right? So you're an elite B2B sales trainer and script doctor. I'll paste 10 full transcripts of successful sales calls that sold the same offer to the same type of prospect. Your job is to build one mother script from these calls by extracting only what actually moves the sale forward and deleting everything else. Follow these rules. So you can scroll up. So analyze these calls first, identify common structure but best calls follow from greeting to close, note the exact questions and phrases that consistently leads to open disclosure, commitment, and payment. Define the call structure, build the script in clear sections with headings, opening a rapport, frame an agenda, discovery, transition to pitch, offer and value stack, handling 3 to 5 objections, final close and next steps. All right? Booking, bam, fam. All right? Create the unified script. Use only lines that appear in multiple winning sales calls or are clearly essential glue. Remove filler, small talk, or stories that don't directly help the sale. Keep language simple, direct, and conversational. 3rd to 6th grade reading level. Keep the core pitch portion short enough to be said in under 5 minutes at a normal pace. Where useful, include questions the rep should ask verbatim and notes about intent or tone. Output format, a short overview of the structure in bullet form. Final word-for-word script organized by section headings. Bullet list of the top 10 most powerful phrases or lines you pulled from the calls. Remember, prioritize clarity, brevity, and closing power. Delete everything that doesn't help prospect decide and buy. All right? So this is what you can take your transcripts and turn it into sales scripts. Transcripts, sales scripts. Transcripts, sales scripts. This is cool, right? This is pretty sweet, isn't it? Yes? Dope? Dope ass shit? Okay, cool. So, I said I was gonna give you guys examples. Like this is the meat. All right, this is the meat. All right? I know, transcript sales are pretty sexy. All right, so now let's say you want to write more emails. So right now, you know you should be following up, right, with your leads. You know you should be following up with your leads. You know you should have a newsletter because Alex said he's getting 20% of his revenue just from spending 1/2 day a month. And you're like, man, if I spent 1/2 day a month and I got an extra 20% of revenue, that would make me money. And I would say, I agree with that. And you should do that. So how do you do it? All right. This is a newsletter style, and so basically you're going to analyze newsletter and generate it. So it's both. So you're an expert copywriter, narrative strategist. You'll notice the same structure for all these. You give them the role, you give the task, you give rules, and you give output. It's kind of the four kind of structure for good prompting. All right. So you're an expert copywriter, narrative strategist, trained to analyze writing samples, extract voice structure style patterns, and reproduce them with new ideas while maintaining the same feel and reader impact. I'll provide my past email newsletters that performed well. Your job is to learn the voice, tone, pacing, narrative structure, rhetorical patterns, and call to action style from these examples. Analyze my past, so tasks. Analyze my past winning newsletters. For all newsletters, I give you to extract voice profile, writing tics, narrative structure, format and patterns, persuasion mechanism, CTA style. Provide concise but complete descriptions of the style you infer. Next, build a reusable newsletter template. Using the patterns above, create a generalized structure for my winning newsletter style, including opening hook style, story and body pattern, teaching framework, pacing and rhythm rules, closing style. This becomes the newsletter blueprint. 3, generate a brand new newsletter. After analysis, when I give a new topic idea, so this is the alpha, right? Remember guys, I was like, you still have to come with the idea. So you say, hey, I want to write a newsletter on some stuff that roofers, so people who own roofs, or people who have leaky pipes, whatever, that they can do to avoid having leaky pipes in the winter. Easy. So I want to have this specific thing, this core story or core element that happened. And I'm going to say, hey, that's the story. And I say, great, boom, put in my template, go run it, right? And then it's going to fill in the gaps within that structure. It's going to take that story and amplify it so that it actually follows the structure that I want. So then the output will be one full newsletter, match the same style, use the template, and then it should feel like I wrote it. And so then it has rules. So some of you guys, never copy phrasing from old newsletters. Learn the style, not the words. Newsletter must be 100% original content in my voice, right? That's why the key idea is so important. If you actually just ask it to just write newsletters for you guys, it will suck. I'm just telling you, it will suck. It does not work. If you give it the idea, then you will have a valuable insight. Keep the structure consistent, never break character. And if you need more samples to refine the model, ask. Yes, Simon, I'm going to give you all these. My gift to you. All right? And then this is output format, so you can just scroll past this. Okay, so here's another one. So let's say you have, notice, it's like if you have this, then you can do this, right? So let's say you've got a, you're getting stuck on rebuttals, right? You're like, people are not buying from you and they're coming up with objections, right? So we say, great, let's help solve this. We're going to upload our transcripts, right? And now we're just going to focus on the objections. So you're an expert sales and objection handling strategist. You specialize in reviewing failed sales calls, identifying the core objection patterns, and turning them into clear, repeatable objection handling playbooks. The input, I'll provide you with one or more failed sales transcripts. Each transcript may include hesitation, filler words, messy phrasing, or incomplete responses. Your job is to extract and clean the insights. Task, identify the primary objection in each call. So for each transcript I give you the primary objection, secondary objection, quote the exact lines from the transcript that signal the objection. Summarize the objection in one clean sentence. 2, propose strong objection handling sentences. So for each objection, write 3 to 5 short, powerful objection handling lines the salesperson could say next time. These must be conversational, non-confrontational, confidence building, framed around value, clarity, and reducing perceived risk, including both softening statements and direct reframes. 3, build a consolidated objection guide after processing multiple calls. Across all transcripts you analyze, create a running playbook, identify all objections that appear more than once, cluster them in the top 10 most common objections, and for each of the 10, give a clean definition of the objection, list example phrases customers say, and provide 3 to 5 objection handling lines. Provide the root cause behind the objection, fear, confusion, misalignment, timing, money, and then format the final guide in a clean way that can be copied into your training manual. Right? Okay. There's more output. I'm not going to read the output formats for you guys, but that's because then you just tell it how you want it to, deliver the thing. So you can scroll to the next one. Okay. So next one. One of you guys said earlier, I wish there was like some sort of writing style analyzer, right? This is what it looks like. So if you've written stuff anywhere, via Slack, via email, blog posts, any content you put out, you can deduce your writing style. And then you can put inputs in so it doesn't sound like AI, it'll sound like you. All right? So role is you're a world-class writing style analyst. Your job is to dissect the style of a given text so it can be reverse engineered and reused. Focus on how it's written, not what it says. I'll paste sample writing after this prompt, analyze it deeply and systematically. Number 1, high-level snapshot. So overall style summary, author persona, and then primary goals of the writing. Next, give me the voice and tone. Formal, informal, direct or indirect, conversational or authoritative. Tone shifts. Does it stay consistent or does it change? Any notable moments where a tone becomes intense, emotional, humorous, serious? Relationship to the reader. Is this because it's their peers, expert, coach, storyteller, teacher, or something else? Is the voice empathetic, challenging, supportive, or confrontational? Structure and flow. Number 3, how is the text built? All right, so overall structure pattern. So is it hook, story, lesson, framework, CTA? Are there distinct sections or acts? Is there opening? Is there closing? Is there logical flows? Right, how we work through this stuff. Sentence level style. So drill into how sentences are written. So sentence length and rhythm, syntax and construction, punctuation habits, use of questions, right? Diction and word choice. We'll just scroll through this. Yeah. Is there repetition? Are there analogies? Are there metaphors? Are there rhetorical devices? Notice how much detail there's on this one. We're trying to get the true essence of the writing. Most of you guys are just saying, sound like me. We have to be specific. That's the idea. It is a machine, right? So you give it machine-like instructions. Imagine you gave this to a human. What's interesting about this is that a human would have a very hard time maintaining all this context in their mind when they're trying to write. A robot can, and that's what makes this powerful. Cool? Okay, keep scrolling for me. So style and rules, the checklist. You can keep going. And then emulation sample, and then we have the output format again. All right, and so then this becomes our next thing that you can completely plug in to anything else. Yes, this is talking to an autistic specialist, right? Real talk, everything I do, I take from that perspective, Moritz. When I give instructions, that's the whole point. You can use these prompts, obviously in ACQ-AI, which is what I'm talking about, but fundamentally, so I want everyone to win. That's my whole goal here. I use all the LLMs, including ACQ-AI. I use ACQ-AI the most for my own business strategy questions because it pulls from the most context of business, right? Rather than this is pulling from blogs on Wikipedia and stuff. I want stuff that is the most applicable for a small business, which, for our purposes will be, 0 to 100 million. And so, especially strategy questions, especially offer-based questions, pricing questions, sales flow, sales process, it's exceptional at. Very good with sales process. Yeah, don't tell GPT sound like me again. Yes, please don't. Okay, so with each of these other ones, you can get the idea for how much depth there is here. I'm going to just read the headlines so that you can get an idea for how this works. So for some of you guys have sales transcripts and recordings, which if you don't, please do that first. But you don't have VSLs. You can take your sales transcripts and say, hey, you're a top tier direct response writer and sales strategist. You specialize in converting long-term sales transcriptions into polished, high-converting VSLs. So you upload the document containing 10 successful sales calls, and your job is to extract persuasion patterns, emotional beats, objection overcomes, promises made, and transformations described, and convert them into a cohesive, cinematic VSL script. And so many of you guys need to just take your 10 sales calls, use this to transform them into a VSL script, and then read the damn script. All right, let's go to the next one. Just scroll all the way to the next one. Okay, so number 6. So sales call manager, sales call feedback analyzer. So this is a big one. So many of you guys have sales teams, and you're too lazy to give sales feedback. So you can have the team do one of two things. One is the sales manager, if that's you, you take their transcript, feed it in, and say, hey, give feedback give me the feedback on the sales script as though you're a master salesperson. So then when you go into your one-on-one, you can say, hey, this is what you need to work on, and then you can role play it. Now, if you need to do that for the whole team, you can do that too. Guess what else you can do? You can have the team get their own feedback on their own sales call. Or you can take your own sales script and get your own feedback from a master salesperson. Right? Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so if you like specific style of YouTube videos, right? You're like, I like this style, I like this structure. Take YouTube videos you like and paste it in, and then you would include what you want it to be about, and then it would pattern match to make a video that's about a new topic with your idea with that general structure and tone, right? So you're a world-class YouTube script analyst and creator. You study video transcripts to extract structure, tone, pacing, narrative mechanics, emotional beats, comedic timing, if any, hooks, story arcs, CTA patterns, and signature stylistic choices. I will upload 1 to 5 transcripts from YouTube that I like. Your job is to analyze them, extract the style and structure, tone rules, build a reusable script template. 4, when I give you a new idea, generate a brand new script using that template, matching the exact feel of the original videos, but with completely new content. Dallas, how do you get transcripts from YouTube? You literally, there's a button on videos on YouTube to get them. Like literally, it's literally a button. So in the description, you hit see more, and if you scroll, there'll be a button that says see transcript. And then you can just copy it. It's like, you don't even have to have a tool. You can just, like YouTube gives you the transcripts. So you copy 2 or 3 of those and make sure, again, whenever you have multiples, make sure that you delineate star, 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 number 1, star, 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 number 2, star, 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 number 3, as you keep going, okay? Great. Do I prefer ACQA for writing copy? Yeah, I mean, I use it. I'm biased though, so yes. I like it for writing copy. Again, I'll be honest, I use everything. I use ACQI the most around offer, pricing, sales flow, copy. That's probably the big 4 that I use it the most for. But anyways, let's keep going. So this would then output YouTube stuff from past YouTubes that were good. So keep going. Okay, shorts script. So for those of you, that's the longs format. This is if you have a shorts format. So either take your best performing shorts or take shorts that you like the style of, and then you insert those into our data source, and it already has the context window of your business. And so then you say, great, boom, here's the prompt. You're a world-class short form content analyst and creator. You break down YouTube shorts, TikToks, Reels, and understand their hook style, pacing, emotional beats, jump cut, rhythm, punchline, and timing, creator voice. I will upload 1 to 5 short form transcripts. Videos I like, you analyze the transcripts, exact structure and tone and pacing rules, build a reusable short script template, and when I give a new idea, generate a brand new short form script using that style. Final script must feel indistinguishable and vibe from the original content while containing completely new content. All right, let's go to the next one. I like Gemini for images. For those of you who are curious, I like Gemini and GPT for images. I use those. I use a lot for images. I use GPT a ton for like personal questions. So more like health stuff. Like if I'll give you a real story. My microwave kept getting this child lock on it. So I took a picture of it and I said, how can I remove this? And it was like, oh, this is Series E17722. Here's the owner's manual. It says this is how to remove it. I was like, great. Stuff like that. I use it for those types of things. I use Grok for anything that I want to not have any kind of political agenda woven into it. So anything that I have that I want to ask Grok about is like more like edgy. If I have like hypothetical questions that I don't need the GPT to judge me, I'll ask Grok. So yeah, that's like what I use those ones for. All right, back to this. So many of you guys need lead magnets, okay? So many of you guys have videos, have content that you've made in the past. You take those transcripts, you take those SOPs, you take those assets that you already have, and then you plug it in to create a lead magnet for your business. So you're a world-class content strategist and direct response marketer. You specialize in transforming video content into high-converting lead magnets designed to create demand, build authority, and generate inbound leads. I will upload 1 to 3 videos or transcripts of content I like. It may be educational, motivational, tactical, or story-based. You will take this tone, structure, frameworks, insights, and teaching patterns, and then build a master lead magnet based on those patterns, but with new, original content aligned with my topic and audience. Yes, Moritz, exactly. If you want to be the sole emperor of the world, how would I go about this? Exactly. Okay, so that's if you have this stuff and need lead magnets. Let's go to the next one. This is the second to last main one, and then I'll show you the last kind of advanced thing, and I think that probably we'll have enough minds melted for the day. Once you have the lead magnet, like once you give a mouse a cookie, it's going to ask for some milk, right? So once you have the lead magnet, what do you need next? You need the follow-up for that lead magnet. And so you say, hey, you're an elite email and SMS conversion copywriter. You specialize in turning lead magnet downloads into booked sales calls using this big stack. I will upload my lead magnet PDF or text. Your job is to read it, extract the messaging, and create a complete follow-up system that converts readers into book calls. Right? That's the idea. So some of you guys have lead magnets. You're like, oh, it doesn't work. No one books calls. It's like, well, have you asked it to make an idealized follow-up sequence? Right? That's SMS and email that's proven for that specific lead magnet. That's what this helps you do. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay. Keep going. Okay, offer architect. So this is one of the big ones for you guys. This is one of the, based on the use cases that we've already pulled from the AI, this is one of the biggest ones that you guys use it most commonly. So this is going to be a little bit different. So 11 through 14, the ones I'm going to show you, are actually a prompt chain. All right, so what's the difference here? So the first 10 I showed you were more or less like if you have this, basically use this prompt plus your context plus the data source to get a good output, right? That's the idea. 11 through 14 basically stacks or loops the output to create the input of the next one, okay? So output 1 becomes input 2, output 2 becomes input 3, output 3 becomes input 4, all right? This is the best 60 I ever spent. I'm glad, Daniel. Glad to hear that. Okay. So this is the offer architect. So some of you guys need to sell more stuff or people aren't buying as much as you want. And so this is what we'd start with. So you're an offer architect, world-class strategist. You think like pricing economist, behavioral psychologist, blah, 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 blah. Your job is to absorb any offer I upload and turn it into a more powerful, more irresistible, higher converting, higher profit, and more defensible offer. So I'm going to read this one in total because I think it's important, and then we'll go to the other ones. All right. So step 1, analyze my current offer. When I upload my offer, extract core promise, mechanism, value drivers, tangible outcomes, intangible outcomes, time to result, effort required, risk, pricing structure, guarantees, bonuses, delivery model, avatar sophistication level, how it's currently positioned versus the market. Then create a diagnostic report showing strengths, weaknesses, missing elements, marketability risks. That's step 1. Step 2, now build a more irresistible version of my offer. So offer enhancements, add or improve, guarantee, bonuses, fast action incentives, delivery upgrades, reduce steps or complexity, increase time to value, increasing perceived certainty, increasing tangibility, social proof or evidence, insert recommendations. Value stack, right? I'll go through all, I'll just skip that one. Okay. Pricing architecture. Here's optimal pricing, here's our anchor pricing, middle, entry, bundles, hybrid pricing, payment plans, etc. Step 3, add upsells, downsells, or cross-sells. This is optional. Boom, 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 boom. Step 4, build the Grand Slam offer version. Create a completely new, re-architect version of my offer that is clear, simple, dramatically, blah, 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 blah. Keep going through. Include the title, one sentence promise, target avatar, primary mechanism, delivery model, what they get, line by line, bonuses, guarantees, pricing, reasoning behind the pricing. That's a key one, by the way. And CTA framing. Step 5, high converting offer positioning messaging. So now, give the elevator pitch, headlines, risk reversal statement, mechanisms. Keep going. Step 6, now we have the output format, and we can skip the output. So is each step a new prompt? No, this is one prompt. This is the thing, it's like you guys are putting like 2-sentence prompts in and somehow expecting it to write a book for you. Like, let me give the way it works. The longer the prompt, the shorter the output. The shorter the prompt, the longer the output. It's kind of like the shorter the question, the longer the answer. Like, what's the meaning of life? Very short question, very long answer. If I said, if you are a, old, white, American, man, born in this time, married to this person. Here's a book about that person. What is that person's meaning of life? It might be a sentence. The idea is the more context you give, the more it narrows the answer. So many of you guys probably, let me know in the chat actually, if you guys get annoyed when you put a simple question in and you get like 2 pages of answers. You're like, I just needed fucking yes or no, right? Do I ever get tired of cranking so much value? Brian, it's a great question. I don't know. I'll tell you, we'll find out by the end of the day. Yes, you guys get that. I get super annoyed too. Why do you think that is? Short prompt, long response. Long prompt, short response. That's what it is. You have to give more context so that it answers exactly what you want. It doesn't know what you want, so it just gives you a ton of answers, hoping that one of them matches. Okay? Now, remember what we just did, number 11, is that we got the new offer, right? The output was the offer. Yes? Yeah, I'm tired of it now. Thanks, baby. So we got so remember, output, input, output, input. So the output of prompt 11 was the prompt of number 12. So we now have our offer. What do we need? We need our sales page copy generator. So we say, okay, I have my offer. Now I got to write the copy. So your world-class copywriter who specializes in writing high-converting sales page based on a clear, structured offer. So I will paste my offer architect output, including all of these things. So we take the output and we paste it in as the input. And then scroll. We can just scroll all the way. That's fine. And then it's going to output all these portions. Now, the output of that one is going to be our sales page. And so we say, hey, with the output of our offer architect, I want you to also create my sales call script, right? Because we have our architect, you gave us the output, we say, great, you're a world-class sales trainer and call flow architect. You turn offers into high-converting sales call scripts. I will paste my offer architect output. Your job is to create a complete sales call script that a rep can follow. Boom, now we have our sales call script off of number 11. Yes, the chain prompt, yes. And then number 14, great, now that we have our offer and then we have our sales page and we have our call script, what else do we need? We need our VSL. So we take our offer architect again, we put the output in, and then boom, we have our VSL. And so just like that, when you can chain these together, you can build out entire marketing universes the way you want it. And the key point of all of this stuff, guys, is the 3 wheels I started this whole day with, which is we have to have the 47 questions of context around your business, right? And so you say, now I'll paste my offer, create the VSL using the structure buff, right? So whenever you see those things at the bottom, that's where you clearly separate. That's where star, 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 and then you put the inputs, right? So all of these will work if you have wheel number 1, complete context for the business. Wheel number 2, great prompts, which is what we're saying, clear instructions to follow. And then rule number 3, the data source that it can pull from to make good quality outputs. Those are the 3 wheels of making AI work significantly better. People can tell the difference between truly automated work, which is why nothing I have sounds like, nothing I have sounds like AI, right? I just use it because it helps you get more. That's the game, right? The game is more now. That's the game. If you can do 10 times the work, which is the part that you guys, I think many of you guys are missing, it's like every one of you should be able to 10x your output with this and still keep your quality the same. That's the key. If you, I know a bunch of you guys are like, I love multi-minute. Me too. I spend time on it. I just don't spend 90 minutes like I used to. I spend like 20. Now, if some of you are like, well, he only spends 20 minutes on it now. Well, I don't know. I do Q&A things that are 5 minutes and people pay a lot of money to do stuff like that, right? And so I just don't have to waste my time on lower value work. So if I know what the core idea that I want to talk about is, once the core idea is there, fleshing out some of the words and the sentences and transitions and bolding the stuff, that stuff is a pain in the ass. It takes time. It's not valuable, right? The value's in the idea. The value's in the narrative. The value's in the story. That's the value. The value's in the experience. And that's what everyone who's watching this, you guys, you have the experience. You guys are doing stuff in the real world. You need to document that. That's what the data sources are for. We have to have these data sources so that you can have stuff that's unique, right? We want to use the AI like a workhorse, right? Use it like a workhorse, not to make your decisions for you. Real quick, I'm going to show you the exact 10-stage roadmap from 0 to 100 million plus that less than 1% of companies finish. I've now done multiple times. And so I can say with a lot of confidence that these are the stages as headcount increases that you need to get through. And I broke each of these down by 8 different functions of the business, what the constraint feels like what are the symptoms of it when you're going through it, and then what steps we actually took to graduate. And we've done this across software, physical products, service businesses, brick and mortar, all of this, and it works. And it's my gift to you. It's absolutely free. And so the link's in the description. Just enter your info and it'll spit it right back to you all free.